Hi everyone, it's Ben from Game Hunters R Us, and this is the video I promised to do for the tagging tubers. Again, I'm just gonna... Josh already tagged 3 people for this, so I'm not gonna bother tagging anyone else. But I would like to appreciate Longshot for tagging us on this, and for your answers too, and for all the answers people that Josh tagged that have already given us. So, the whole thing is that you just tag 3 or so gamers out there and ask some non-gaming related questions, just kind of a get-to-know-you video. So, the first question was, what game would you like boxed and complete? And for me, that question's quite easy. I'm actively looking for these. I would like a complete Donkey Kong Country trilogy, boxed and complete. I already have the first one. I got that in the Waterloo Game Swap, I think that was in May. But I don't have the other 2 yet. Actually, I was actually looking for them in the Game Swap just this past weekend. Unfortunately, for the most part, I only found boxed and complete copies of the first Donkey Kong Country. And they were good deals too. Some of them were very good condition and only $30. I found one complete copy of Donkey Kong Country 3. But the box was not in good shape. You know, there were dents all over it. And even worse, they were asking $85 for it. It's not worth it. Even if it was in good condition, it wouldn't be worth that. I can get that for far less on eBay if I really wanted. So, I didn't get it. But they were my favorite. They're still my favorite classic gaming trilogy. So, what is your favorite kind of potato chip? That's the second question. I don't really eat potato chips anymore. I forget exactly when it was, but I'm going to guess around grade 11, I stopped eating potato chips and drinking pop. Just because at the time I was starting to get heavier than I wanted to. I'm actually about 30 pounds lighter than that now. But I just wanted to lose some weight. And since then, I just haven't enjoyed either of them as much. I guess that's one thing about stopping eating something healthy. Eventually, you don't like it anymore. And in some cases, your body even tells you, I don't want that. I'm going to feel sick because I hate you for eating that. But, I wish this lighting would remain more consistent. But when I used to eat chips, I used to really like salt and vinegar. And I also liked barbecue. And there was one time way back when I used to like ketchup chips. I don't know if those are available in the States, but they are here and they're alright. They kind of don't taste like ketchup, but... What was your favorite vacation? That's the third question. This is a bit of a toughie because I've had a fair number of vacations. Because my dad's side of the family is from Nova Scotia, I've been there almost every year of my life. I spent my first Christmas there. We've been there at least once pretty much every time of the year. We saw Canada Day fireworks once. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've been there for New Year's. We've been there in May, we've been there in September. Just pretty much every time of the year. There was one year we went to Newfoundland for a week with my dad's sister. And that was a lot of fun. But I think my favorite would have to be our trip to Italy. I like pizza. And I ate a lot of pizza there. It's very different from ours. It's more of a simple comfort food than it is kind of a greasy, spicy food here. I like both, but in some ways I like their version better. Just because it's simpler. It's not as greasy. You can tell that it's not as bad for you. It's also neat seeing a culture that's very different from ours. That was the first time I saw a culture that drastically different. I mean, there were a couple times I've been to Caribbean countries, but even then we mostly stuck to tourist towns, and when that happens, you're not going to see that much unique culture. You're just going to maybe see a little bit of stereotyping of it. But it's, even though it's a different culture, it's still recognizable. And then my favorite day on that trip was the wine tour. I'm not a heavy drinker, but I like wine, and it was neat seeing it and trying some high class wine when I usually just get the not cheap stuff, but I don't go for expensive stuff either. It was also my first and so far only trip overseas. Where would you like to go? There are 3 places I would like to go at some point. This is the last question. There's England, which my family is actually planning to go to next year. That's a big one, so I don't know if I can really count that. I would really like to see Japan, because that's partly where Nintendo originated. There's a very different culture there. It's a very rich sense of history. Like, I'm sure there's some samurai things to see. And the another country I'd like to go to, I'm kind of split between this and Japan right now, but Germany and some of its neighboring countries. Germany itself has some of the nicest castles in the world, including one, I'm not going to try to pronounce it because it's a really long German word. It starts with N, and it's pretty much the castle that inspired the Disney logo, the Disney castle. It was made in the 1800s, and it's really nice. It's not too far from Munich. I'm sure if you Google it, you can find out where it is. But I'll just print it in the description. It would also be neat to visit some of the Holocaust museums in there. I would assume they're really good. It would be kind of neat to see the Berlin Wall. Some of the neighboring countries include stuff like Austria, which would be neat. Not too far from that would be Hungary and Romania. Romania has Transylvania as well. That the Carpathian Mountains are supposed to be really nice, and they also have some creepy castle remains for obvious reasons. The Carpathian Mountains are supposed to be brilliant. And yeah, Germany would be fun. Their beer's supposed to be really good. And they seem to make all the best stuff, all the best engineering jobs, everything. I don't know what it is about their culture, but they're hardcore and brilliant with that stuff. Now so I'm kind of split between Japan and Germany, but I would say Britain is number 1, except that we are already planning on going there. Anyway, yeah, that's my get to know you post. See ya.